H. Culhane with Solar Cities at the Rosebud Continuum Sustainability Education Center, and I just want to today show you what we're doing with all this food waste, grinding it in this incinerator, this 1 horsepower Evolution incinerator, and then turning it into a slurry here, which we usually use to feed the biodigester, the dragon, right behind me there. But I want to show you today that if you have a situation like we had this weekend when Taylor came from the Columbia restaurant and the other Gonsmart restaurants to bring all this food waste and clogged the throat of the biodigester and then didn't know what to do, I said just grind it up and you can leave it as a slurry in a bucket and then I'll come and feed the digester. But now I want to show you that you don't have to have a biodigester or even a compost. Once the food waste is ground up, it doesn't smell and it can be thrown right in the garden. So that's what I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to lift this over and pour it on the soil. All right, so let's look at the operation. By the way, that Walmart queen-sized air mattress is collecting the biogas coming from the dragon. But we have 2 other biodigesters here. We have the wishing well, which has the solar panels on it, and we're feeding that one. And there you go. We don't do much grinding for these digesters. A lot of the food is rice. I just dumped in these 8 buckets of food waste. And you can see where the student had clogged up this throat, and I have to plunge that, it's not going to be a big deal, down there. But in the meanwhile, because people think, oh, I can't feed it, it's full, it's clogged. With ground up food waste, as you can see, yesterday morning, we just dumped it. It looks a bit like vomit, but it doesn't smell. It doesn't attract flies, no insects, and the chickens were all over here this morning and they ignored it. And chickens will normally eat anything, but ground up food waste, chickens seem to have no interest. So it'll turn in, if you grind up your food waste, it'll turn into soil in anywhere from 3 to 6 days, depending on the temperatures and the soil ecology around it. So I'm just going to dump this entire, what was that, 25 gallons of ground up food waste right here to produce soil. Not worried about it. We'll come back in a week, or half a week, and then a week, and we'll check and see the progress and prove that there's no vermin, no smells, no flies, and that it's turning very rapidly into soil, even without composting. And that's one of the things you could do. If you have food waste and you don't have a compost bin, but you've got a little patch of a garden, just throw it on, because that's what nature does. It's like leaf litter. It's fruit fall, and it turns into soil. So it may not look attractive, but there's no problem with it. So hold on a second. So there we go. I've just tipped it over. Doesn't that look disgusting? And it does look disgusting, but it doesn't smell disgusting. And this is all sorts of mixed food waste. It's rice, and it's salads, and there's even some seafood in there. But grinding seems to take care of it. So I'm going to have it like that. Now, for this experiment, I can just leave it like that. Normally what we would do in a condition like this, we would cover it with some mulch, because people don't like the unsightly nature of it. So if you have mulch, you can certainly cover it in mulch or grass clippings, and then no one will ever see it. And in fact, just because there might be some people complaining about that, I'm going to gather all this brush here and use that to cover it up, and then no one will know. This is the big cover-up, as you can see, and no one will know, and that will add a little carbon to it, but it will decompose. And the nice thing is, if you grind up food waste, you will really accelerate the thermophilic activity of compost so that it will turn into beautiful soil even faster, and you can use it to heat stuff. So if you have grass clippings or you've been doing weeding, you don't need to get a compost bin. That is a myth. What you need is an incinerator or equivalent food grinder, and that will take care of the whole mess, and you can just drop it in your garden. We've been doing this for over a decade now, and so it does work. We know that really well. So that's